Hi there, it's Thursday. It's Tanya Jooste. I'm talking today from my page Botanicamy, an alchemy of soothing botanic ingredients. And we are carrying on with my single series this week. And it's episode 5. So if you didn't catch the first 4 in the series, please always know that you can go and catch them on my Facebook page in the feed. But you're also very welcome to go and subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you can be alerted when the next video is loaded. So welcome. I can see the people are starting to log in. Hello, Quibus. Welcome to see. Good to see you today. I'm just going to wait a couple of more seconds for some more people to log in. Today we are talking about an incredibly powerful essential oil called oregano. Yes, very exciting. Hello, Marie. Ek sien jy's in. Welcome, welcome. I'm so glad you made time for me today because you're doing some art today. Really good for the mood. So that's awesome. Okay, so before we get started, let's talk about oregano's well-known fact in the sense that it is, wow, it's such a strong oil. It's like chili peppers, right? It's one of those hot oils. And hot oils, we know we need to be a little bit more wary of. Why? Because they can feel like chili peppers, right? So let's talk about oregano today. I would like to talk about the chemical constituents and a little bit about the science. Because, whoa, it's exciting. There's so much research out there for oregano. But then I also want to give you some practical examples of how to use this incredibly hot oil. So, hello, Jill. Welcome, welcome. Hello, Jerry. Yay, Kobus is giving us another wave. Fantastic. So, as soon as you pop a comment in there, I can see you there. So, if you want to be mentioned, then please do go and pop it in the comments. So who's excited about oregano? It's one of those tough ones for me. It's again one of those essential oils. The smells so incredibly potent. I don't necessarily always know whether it's going to be a nice one for me for the day. Okay, so it's not something that I associate with a nice, beautiful deodorizing oil or something that I want to wear around me all the time or even have in a diffuser. But I think coming out of today's research, it's probably one of those ones that we could start investigating or using a little bit more, even in a diffuser, and definitely in cooking practices. Okay, so oregano is incredibly versatile again because of all the many health challenges that it can support. But more than that, it's not just for humans. It's actually used quite extensively in the food industry as well as the veterinary industry as well. So let's get started on this beautiful plant and essential oil. So obviously the oregano essential oil is steam distilled from the twigs and the leaves. But the first thing that comes to mind for oregano is antioxidant, and it's one of the most powerful ones out there. So if you just take fresh oregano, for example, and you compare it weight for weight to other fresh plants and vegetables and herbs, I'm going to give you an example, some examples of how powerful or high in antioxidants the fresh plants are. And remember, antioxidants do actually carry over into the essential oil format because they're aromatic compounds, so they're even more concentrated when you're using the essential oil. So that's why this specific essential oil is so very routinely used in both the human and the animal and the food industry. So let's start looking at that weight for weight basis. So this I found incredibly interesting. It's got oregano, weight for weight, 42 times more antioxidants in them than apples, okay? And we all know an apple a day keeps the doctor away. So there we go, really high in antioxidants. And why do we need that? Obviously, because they do assist the body with DNA damage, right? So antioxidants make sure that there's no free radical damage taking place. And we do need quite a large abundance of antioxidants in our body. Hi, Beverly Slater. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you on again today as well. All right, so 42 times more antioxidants in fresh oregano compared to apples, 30 times more than potatoes, 12 times more than oranges, and then that very nice purpley berry that we all love to eat because they are so incredibly high in antioxidant support is, of course, blueberries. And who would have known? Oregano has 4 times more antioxidants than blueberries. Okay, so here's a very good reason why we need to start incorporating more oregano into our cooking, I think. Perhaps the Italians have something, putting it and slapping it into all of their pasta and onto all of their pizzas, right? But I'm pretty sure we can use it in a lot more cooking than that, especially if you're like me and you're not so great with all the grains that do come associated with the pastas and the pizzas. All right, so let's start talking about this incredibly high antioxidant support, because it has been researched quite thoroughly, and there's quite a lot of nice scientific studies out there, really good ones as well, where they show why essential oils are now starting to be used more and more in the veterinary industry, because they are trying to move away from using antibiotics, because remember, overuse and routine antibiotic use in the veterinary industry actually causes quite a lot of antibiotic resistance. So they have now started using oregano essential oil in animal diets. And the reason obviously for that is they use antibiotics in the veterinary industry to plump up the animals. There's no other way to put it, right? Because they get sick less often, so they put on weight. And that also means that their health is a little bit better. So they have now started using oregano essential oil in that, for example. And it's got quite a lot of phytochemicals in it, right? So it's one of those things that we in layman's terms say it's nature's strongest antibiotic, but that's sort of playing around with the terms a little bit loosely. What it actually means is that oregano has got very strong antimicrobial properties, right? So that's the right word to use. Hello, Dalian. Welcome. So that means it's both, not both, but it's got quite a couple of antimicrobial properties. So it's antifungal, yeast would fall into that same category, of course, antibacterial, and even antiviral. Right, and it has actually been shown to cause damage to the cell membrane of something like a superbug, methicillin-resistant Staphylococcus aureus, which is quite a nasty one that you find in hospitals. So here we're talking about human side. It actually causes damage to the cell membrane and of the methicillin-resistant Staphylococcus aureus. And if you don't know what that very big word is, MRSA, okay? And then there's leakage of the cell contents that leaks out, and then obviously that's cheerio, bad bug. So oregano is incredibly powerful there, but it also interferes with the superbug's energy metabolism. So it interferes with that TCA cycle or the Krebs cycle. I'm pretty sure you remember that from school days. And then ATP cannot produce, okay? And if there's no energy, there's no life. So that's really awesome. It's also really strong in anti-biofilm action. So bacteria make like a secretion, right? So it's called a biofilm. It's a protective layer. It's usually slimy and then also calcified, so it can harden. And that also means that there's this beautiful habitat or niche for this bacteria to grow in. And this is a lot more relevant specifically when we start looking at urinary tract infections, for example, because urinary tract infections are usually caused by these organisms that thrive in a biofilm. And because the oregano does, sort of prevents biofilm formation, you can guess it's going to be a really good supportive oil for your immune system when we start looking at urinary tract infections. But let's talk about the food industry again, because I find it so fascinating that a plant can just be so versatile and be used everywhere. But do remember, it's an incredibly potent oil, so you can use it at very, very small concentrations, or very low concentrations, I should rather say. So it's very good in the food industry because of all these antibacterial properties that it has. And it almost prevents, I would say, it's that strong against food pathogens, things like E. coli and Salmonella. And there's also studies where it shows where it actually increases the susceptibility of Listeria monocytogenes, which is a really bad food pathogen, by the way. That's the one that made South Africans die quite a couple of months ago, before we had the viral threat that was going around now. So it actually makes Listeria monocytogenes more susceptible to heat damage, right? And for that very reason is really good in a combination with some other goodies that you would use in the food industry. And for this very reason, oregano is actually thoroughly used in the food industry as a preservative, a natural preservative, which I find absolutely fascinating, because that means we're getting in less toxins, right? So yeah, pretty amazing stuff right there. Also, that's the other one. Sorry, it's the E. coli and the Salmonella that really doesn't like oregano. But more than that, and this is where my my sort of university days comes through, because I always, with the scientific species names, I needed to make up stories so I could remember them, right? And one of them was obviously a lintworm, which is a long a worm. There's no other word for it, right? That one's called Tanya solium, and remember, my name is Tanya, so I sort of associated with myself. But here, the one that I'm actually going to refer to that also doesn't like oregano essential oil is actually Bacillus cereus. And this is the serious bacillus, right? It's going to cause some serious damage and harm to you when you actually get in this particular food pathogen, all right? So hopefully that's a story that's going to stick with you. There's lots of species of bacillus around, and a lot of them are not harmful, but Bacillus cereus, the serious one, definitely is. And oregano can obviously assist there as well. So not only is oregano incredibly antimicrobial, but it also is really good for respiratory function. And here, again, I guess it refers back to the antifungal properties, because a lot of respiratory conditions are actually caused by fungus. So they definitely can have a supportive benefit to the immune system. This is something I didn't actually know. It's very good for the endocrine system, especially if you're lacking in the progesterone side. So oregano essential oil has been shown to support progesterone secretion, all right? So there's a fun fact for you. Also very anti-inflammatory. And this comes as no surprise to me, because I actually have quite a lot of friends that have a lot of joint discomfort, and as well as sort of muscular discomfort that comes with certain diseases and obviously age. And they use oregano quite a lot with the addition of an additional essential oil called copahiba, which is also anti-inflammatory and works on the CB2 receptors. But the combination of the oregano together with the copahiba works really well for discomfort that you feel in your joints and muscles. All right, and if we start looking at the general use of oregano on the emotional side, and I've now learned something, I'm probably going to have to start using a little bit more oregano, especially on myself, have to admit. But it helps you to move from feeling obstinate to actually feeling unattached. And let's face it, you all know me as No Nonsense Tanya on the one side, or do it my way, Tanya, okay? And obviously, oregano is going to be quite beneficial in assisting me there. So probably a good one to use in a diffuser. You don't need a lot because it's an incredibly potent smell. Your house will smell like a pizza or a pizzeria, which is probably beneficial if you're having guests over. But please do remember that oregano also has sedating properties to it. So don't add too much oregano unless you want all your guests to fall asleep at the dinner table, okay? So that was quite an interesting one as well. Oregano is also very supportive for the liver. So it can be combined with things like zendocrine, which is an essential oil blend specifically made to detox your organs or to assist with the detox of your organs, as well as helichrysum. And those essential oils together are going to be really beneficial in sort of reducing the stress or the load of your liver. Another fun fact there for you as well. All right, now these are, this is quite a variety of different things that this incredibly versatile essential oil can do. So let's see how we can practically use oregano. Hello Salima, welcome. And Nazli, thank you for coming in, as well as Almarie Morstedt. I had some more people coming in today, thank you. So basically, because it's so versatile, we also need to heed to the safety instructions, because oregano is a hot oil, and by hot I mean really hot, okay? So you've got to be cognizant of the fact that you can't just apply this essential oil neat. No matter if you're using a therapeutic grade oil that's really pure, that has nothing added or taken away, it really is still going to feel like chili peppers on your skin, all right? And because oregano is so high in antioxidant support, if you are using an essential oil that is safe for internal use, it'll actually have a sort of nutritional box on the label of the essential oil. Then it can be used internally for antioxidant support, and it's really good to support the immune system. But please, hot oil in a veggie capsule with some carrier oil. And when you're using essential oils internally, I always advise to seek out some professional medical care. Just chat with your naturopath or your functional medicine doctor so they can sort of assist you, so that there's no sort of cross reactions and happening and that kind of thing. But the oregano is really beneficial for several body systems. And before we start looking at how we can apply it topically and maybe put it in a diffuser and what lotions and things you can put it in, let's look at something that not all of us know about, and the fact that oregano is incredibly supportive to the digestive system. Hello, Aniki. Welcome for joining. So the digestive system, obviously, when you start thinking small intestines, there's these like little wormy things, right? We call them villi. And they're like these very tiny microscopic hairs, and they are there to actually take up the nutrients after digestion in your small intestines. And oregano essential oil, when being used as a supplement, obviously at incredibly low concentration, these oils are very, very potent, has actually been shown to increase the length of the villi. And if you increase the villi, it also means your absorption surface area increases, which means more nutrient uptake. And this is really beneficial when we turn older, because we actually are not that good anymore to take up nutrients as we age, right? So there's a beneficial use for oregano essential oil, but it also increases the integrity, I'd say, of the intestinal barrier. Okay, so if you're someone that struggles with a leaky intestinal barrier or those kind of scenarios, then obviously oregano essential oil is definitely something to look at. But again, always just, if you're going to have to be using it in medicinal sort of quantities for a symptomatic relief or an intervention, it's always a good idea to seek the help of a professional, just to sort of guide you and what concentration to use and how often to use, because do not forget, it is an antimicrobial and it might actually, if you do use it at very high doses and over very long periods of time, not actually be that beneficial for you to use it in that manner. So because it's a hot oil, let's talk about the ways we can use this essential oil, because you're always going to have to dilute slightly, right? And this is a little bit of a tricky one, because I like to clean my home with oregano because of all its antimicrobial properties. But if you've got surfaces, natural stone, for example, that gets damaged by vinegar, you could quite as easily just add 10 drops of oregano essential oil to some filtered water and shake it really well and clean your surfaces that way, because it's really good as a cleanser, a natural home cleanser, and it's also going to be sanitizing to the surfaces. But do then also consider, because you're not diluting it, I mean, water is not diluting an essential oil. Remember, it's actually making it a little bit stronger. So then you've got to think about the fact that here you're probably going to need to put on some gloves. Why? Because if the oregano touches your skin neat, it might feel like you're burning yourself with chili peppers, because it's incredibly, incredibly strong. Hello, Lithia. No problem in joining late. Do remember, you can always watch the replay on my YouTube channel if you go and subscribe, but you can also catch it live by pressing the play button in the feed in my Facebook page when this video is finished. Hello, Blanche. Welcome. Thank you for joining today. So that's a really nice use of an essential oil, making use of its antimicrobial properties, is to clean your home, because you're doing it naturally, you're decreasing the toxic load, and you know it's going to be really good in having the antimicrobial properties that you do need to get a clean surface. Okay, and it's going to smell like a pizzeria in your kitchen, which is really amazing. But yes, definitely gloves I would suggest, especially if you've got a sensitive skin. We can also use, because of its anti-inflammatory properties, the oregano, for example, in skin lotions and creams. But here I would always also make sure that there is an oil base in there, because if it's a water-based cream, please also again remember, you're not really diluting it out, so it's not going to take away the stinging effect of the oregano essential oil. So if you can add some additional oil in there, if it's a water-based cream, I would say definitely don't go over a 1 or a 2% solution, because for sensitive skins, that's sort of the maximum you use for a sensitive skin anyway for any type of essential oil. But now always consider that oregano is a hot oil, so you definitely do need to dilute. Okay, and what does a 1 or a 2% solution mean? 1% is 1 drop of essential oil in a teaspoon of either a oil-based cream or a carrier oil. Okay, and then we can also use oregano quite a lot in cooking and baking. Catherine's saying sorry she's late. You guys, please don't stress about it. Always replay available. You know where to find me. I'm just very glad that you've come to learn a little bit more and join the continued education of improving your lives with essential oils. So thank you for joining. So oregano is amazing to cook and bake with, and there is actually studies that have been done, because do remember, high heat can change the chemical constituents in essential oils, so you will lose some of the therapeutic benefit. But they actually did a very nice study where they made some pasta dough with oregano essential oil, and then they compared baking it versus boiling it in water, and both of those cooking methods actually still had quite a lot of more than 60% of the chemical constituents in there after the cooking process. Okay, so we're still getting the benefit of the carvacrol and the thymol, which are the main constituents in oregano, even if we have exposed it to the cooking by baking it or by boiling it. The cooking method out of the two that has the most of the carvacrol and the thymol left afterwards is the boiling method. thankfully, because that's mostly how we cook pasta, okay? And unless you're doing a lasagna, but then you're gonna first boil it and then you're gonna bake it right in the oven. So just keep that in mind. Hello, we've also got some newbies on today. Janis or Janes, I'm not entirely sure how you say that, but hello, Janes or Jani Fasaki, welcome today. All right, so home cleaners, cooking and baking, but you can also be using it medicinally, especially if you are using a therapeutic grade essential oil. And here it's then obviously to support the digestive system. Therefore, you can put it in a veggie capsule. And if you are going to be supporting the respiratory system, very good idea to put it in a diffuser, but you can also dilute it quite extensively with some carrier oil and perhaps give your chest area a good rub. And then you can also, for the antioxidant support, and obviously antioxidants are really good for those cell proliferating conditions, right? So oregano is another essential oil for that, and for that very same reason, probably a good idea to include some of your oregano, very diluted, again, remember, in your oil-based skin lotion. Because of the antioxidant properties, it's going to protect against free radical damage and probably then offers quite a lot of support so that your skin cells can stay healthy, especially when you're getting quite a lot of sun damage. All right, so lots of info there about oregano. I could probably talk for about 2 hours. I'm rather not going to, because then you're not going to remember everything. Hope you took some notes. If you do forget some of the things that I said today, please remember the replay is always available in my YouTube channel, also in my Facebook feed of my Botanically page and Alchemy of Soothing Botanic Ingredients. So you can always come back and learn more. If you do know someone that could benefit from the use of essential oils, especially oregano, because of the antioxidant support, please feel free to share this video with them so they can learn some more too. And then I'm going to say thank you for joining me today. I'm probably going to put some oregano in my diffuser today as well, very dilute, with some other essential oils hopefully, because the smell is incredibly strong. And then I will see you guys all next week for episode 6 in my single series. Today was episode 5. Don't know what it is yet. If you've got a suggestion, put it in the comments. I might just speak about it. So thank you for joining me. I will see you all next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.